This is our another lecture for calculus, which is based on integration problems. So today the target is going to be integration based problems. So this is our day 4 of STAR program. I am Abhilash, senior lecturer at Sri Chaitanya Gosala Institute. So we have started this program 4 days back, in which we in physics started with calculus part, the basic maths in physics. Day 1, if you remember, we have done the differentiation concepts. Day 2, differentiation based problems. And on our day 2 itself, we have already started with doing the NEET PYQs. Okay. Day 3 pe we started with integration, and day 4 today, that is integration based problems. So like always, I'm going to give you a quick recap. We are going to discuss few illustrations, and then we will go ahead with the NEET previous year questions, and we will see that in 3-4 days of our journey itself, are we able to compete with the others which are preparing for the national level exam? Are we able to get the fundamentals strongly, so that from now onwards you can directly match up with the level? Okay, definitely it's a long journey of 2 years still, like when you are going to appear for NEET. But yes, if every day you will get a bit closer to the actual goal, definitely it's going to be beneficial. Okay, so let's hope that we'll go ahead with full energy and positivity, and we are going to learn a lot. So chaliye start karte hain. So the basic review, the quick revision, what we have learned till now. We have learned that if we have to convert a big change into small change, differentiation. If we have small changes, and we want to sum up all the small changes in order to get a big change. If we want to sum up all the small changes in order to get the big change, I will be making use of the process of integration. Okay. For example, if I say integration of dm, so dm is a very small mass, dm is a very small change in mass. If you will integrate that, integration means it is s and you have elongated it, right? That's what the integration symbol is. Integration symbol is like extended s, because you are going to sum up, you are going to add on the things. So here integration of dm is going to give you m total. Once more, integration of dt is going to give you t total time. Integration of dx is going to give you x total. Understood? So this is the way you understand the integration. And yes, differentiation and integration are opposite processes. So we have some similarity. In their formula also. For example, I'll compare the formula for differentiation and integration separately for you. First of all, here let me compare the formula for differentiation. As this is our 4th and last day of calculus, whatever we have understood and learned till now, let us compare that, because if you will compare the formula of differentiation and integration, you will be definitely able to clear out the confusion. And here I will be talking about the formula for integration. Now I would be expecting that in comment section you are going to tell me the exact formula. Okay, let me start with the formula of differentiation. I will say, suppose I am interested in writing d by dx of, differentiation notation is this, d by dx of x to the power n. What will be the answer of this? D by dx of x to the power n. What will be the answer of this? Tell me in the comment section. How do you differentiate x to the power n? Yes, the power is multiplied. And actual power is reduced. And if you talk about the integration, you will say integration of x to the power n dx. Then here you will have, how do you integrate? In differentiation, you multiply the power and actual power is reduced. In integration, you enhance the power and it is divided by the incremented power. Plus, let's not forget this constant c, because we haven't applied the limits. If we apply the limits, we call that integration as definite integration. So limits are there, constant of integration is not there. But if we don't apply the limits, the integration is indefinite integration. I have taught you in the last lecture. All the new learners who have just joined the channel after this session, I'll make sure that whatever I teach here, you understand it. But after this session, whenever you can find out some time, go through the first 3 days lecture, day 1, day 2 and day 3 lecture. Okay. So here, I will say this C is constant of integration. Constant of integration. Why this constant of integration is there, sir? Because even if there would have been a constant, suppose, even if there would have been a constant here, suppose imagine that there is a constant, then also x to the power n differentiation is this and constant's differentiation is 0. Then also answer will not vary. So what I mean by that is that if there is the function and also with the function there is a constant, then also the differentiation will result into the same answer. Similarly, integration and differentiation are opposite processes. So if we can entertain a constant here, then we should also be entertaining another constant here. And moreover, as per the rule of indefinite integration, when limits are not there, constant of integration has to be there. Okay, let's talk about another formula. Now I can introduce few more formula. For example, d by dx of log x. d by dx of log x is 1 by x. d by dx of log x is 1 by x. Similarly, I have told you last time, not valid, this formula is not valid if n is equal to -1. Why? Because there are two reasons. For n is equal to -1 or negative power, inverse power, there is a different formula applicable. Moreover, if you put the n is equal to -1 here, -1 plus 1 will become not defined. So we should not be applying this formula when n is equal to -1. So not valid if n is equal to -1 here. So what will be the formula? There will be a new formula, integration of dx by x or integration of x to the power -1 dx. Answer will be log x. Don't forget this c, constant of integration. So what I just said, see, differentiation and integration are opposite processes. If derivative of log x is 1 by x, then integration of 1 by x will be log x plus c if there are no limits. If there are limits, there will be no constant required. Once more, sir, once more. Tell me the derivative of sin x. Derivative of sin x. What is that? Derivative of sin x is, tell me in the comment section, derivative of sin x. Cos x. Very nice. Derivative of sin x is cos x. So can I say integration of cos x dx will be equal to sin x plus c. Correct? So sin x derivative is cos x integration will be sin x. है ना? Once more. d by dx of cos x is minus sin x. d by dx of cos x is minus sin x. है ना? d by dx of cos x is minus sin x. So can I say integration of minus sin x dx will be cos x, or in other words you will say integration of sin x dx will be minus of cos x plus c. Minus of cos x plus c. So you can say eventually you can easily compare the differentiation and integration formula are exactly opposite to each other. There are many more formula, but for our basic study, for our starting journey, these 4 formula of differentiation and integration are more than sufficient. I hope that's cool for you. You can take a quick screenshot, then I will give you some, plus c. True. minus of cos x plus c, and here also it would have been some c, here it would have been some c dash, doesn't matter. C is just a constant of integration. Very true. Very nice. So you take the screenshot, then I will be giving you some few examples, and then we will be talking about the NEET previous year questions. So quickly take the screenshot. All right. I hope you have taken the screenshot. You have understood the comparison between the two. Chaliye, let's talk about few basic examples. What are the few basic examples, sir? We are going to start with, first of all, example number 1. Suppose examiner is telling dx by x square, very common integration in physics. Why this is very common integration in physics, sir? Because Newton's law of gravitation, G m1 m2 by r square. Similarly, force between the magnetic poles, similarly force between the charges, force between the masses, all these forces follow inverse square law. Means in all these questions, force between the masses, force between the charges, force between North Pole and South Pole, or like that, magnetic poles. There in those questions, you will be needing this particular integration sometimes whenever you are dealing with variations. So dx by x square, very common integration. I want you to remember. How to do that, sir? Can I say this can be written as x to the power minus 2 dx, x to the power minus 2 dx, and that will be equal to, by integration, x to the power minus 2 plus 1 by minus 2 plus 1 plus c. So that can be written as x to the power minus 1 by minus 1 plus c. So that can be written as minus 1 by x. See, minus will come here, and power minus 1 means inverse. Minus 1 by x plus c, like that. Okay. So integration of dx by x square, this is going to be the whole situation. All right. I hope that's cool and clear for you. Now, so this is why you have kept c over here, sir, because the type of integration was, what type of integration was there? Indefinite integration. Indefinite integration. How do you identify indefinite integration, sir? If you remember yesterday's lecture, last class lecture, I told you limits are not there. Limits are not there. And if limits are not there, then constant of integration is there. C has to be there. Okay? Sahi? Understood? Now let me give you an example. If the same thing for definite integration, if we know that where to start the process of summation and where to end the process of summation. Definite integration, I will tell you lower limit, what is lower limit and what is upper limit. I have told you once yesterday, but integration is a bit, because I've been teaching the integration to you after differentiation. So in order to avoid any kind of confusion, I will be emphasizing on the things again and again. See, repetition is the best way of learning, isn't it? If something seems to be very tough for you, you do it multiple times. It will seem to be easy. You know, I remember the memory of my childhood. So I was not that good student in maths, I would say. I mean, I'm not talking about 9th, 10th class student. I'm talking about 1st, 2nd class, 3rd class, maybe. So what kind of maths people have in those classes, right? You can understand it better. So when I have my memory that, you know, I was not that good student. So what makes me feel that I was not good is that I was feeling very, you know, very much difficulty in memorizing the tables. I mean, it's fine. Everyone knows 2 ka table, 5, the table of 5, the table of 6. It's fine. But you remember, many people out of you also would have been doing this, that if you can't remember the pattern of 9, table 9, if you can't remember the table of 9, then you know the pattern, how to, I mean, if someone will give you the pen and the paper, you can easily write down the table of 9. Similarly, the table of 17, 18, 19, it was a bit complicated, right? But yes, nowadays, if I spontaneously ask that what is this into this, you might be able to answer it very easily. The reason is not that you have spent number of hours or number of years in learning those things, right? When you had to learn those, then we were bad at that. Now, no one tells us to learn that, but still that is in our memory. We are so frequent sometimes to answer that. The reason is that in so many years of our life previously, like from that childhood memory to this present contemporary stage, you have been doing the same things again and again, that this repetition comes in your head, and repetition is the best way of learning. So make it a rule that in the further journey of your NEET exam preparation also, many teachers here, we will be teaching you many things, especially the physics teachers like me, we will be teaching you many things. And even if you in physics, chemistry, or say botany or zoology, whenever you find the things complicated, don't close your eyes, don't look here and there, don't try to run away from the topics. No, that's not the way you do in life. The greatest achievement in life is converting your weakness into your strength. So whenever you feel any kind of complication, you must be reminding yourself, you must be promising yourself that, okay boss, I'm finding this stuff, I'm gonna do this again and again, multiple times, till the time I by heart don't get the feel that yes, I have converted my weakness into strength. So never stop and never ever think that you can't do it, right? Try to chase it, you will be definitely able to do that. Fine. So chalo, getting back to our topic, lower limit. What is lower limit and what is upper limit? How in physics you talk about this lower limit and you talk about this upper limit. So I say lower limit means value of variable. Value of variable. Which variable, sir? Obviously, I am talking about the independent variable. Here x is the independent variable and x square is a dependent function on that. So value of variable where the process of summation, where the process starts. See, if first time I would be teaching you dependent variable, independent variable, everyone will find it tough. But if I am repeatedly teaching you the same thing in consecutive 2-3 lectures, in every lecture I am talking about dependent, independent, you are now comfortable with it. It's not easy, it's not difficult, it is just different. So get familiar with it on daily basis, you will start liking it. So value of variable where the process starts. Upper limit means value of variable where the process ends. Where the process ends. Okay. Now if this is the definite integration, then how to do that? Suppose examiner is giving me the same thing, dx by x square within limits say a to d to d plus l. d to d plus l. Okay, this is the expression. How do you know that, sir? I'm just giving you an example that suppose this is an expression, then how you will be dealing with it. So you will say, sir, first time since you are integrating with the limits, first thing should come in your mind is that you will apply the same integration formula, but you should not be putting constant of integration. So you will say 1 by x square, dx by x square. What we have learned? Dx by x square, since it is very common, my expectation is that you will remember that it will minus 1 by x. It will be minus 1 by x. So dx by x square ka integration, it's going to be minus 1 by x within limits d to d plus l. Within limits d to d plus l. Okay. Now this is the integration you have done, sir. But you didn't write this plus c, sir. Why? Because limits are there. So there is no need of writing this plus c. Now how to put the limits? First phase is whether it is a definite integration or an indefinite integration, integrate. By applying the formula of integration, first phase is by applying these formula of integration, you can just integrate. But once you have got the integrated version, now the second phase of the solution is how to apply the limits. Now how to apply the limits, sir? Wherever the variable is, listen to my words very, very carefully. Wherever the x is, wherever the variable is, put the upper limit. Wherever the variable is, put the upper limit. And wherever the variable is, put the lower limit. I repeat, wherever you find the variable x, y, z, put the upper limit. Minus Wherever the variable is, put the lower limit. For example, I will say -1 by upper limit d plus L. This x was variable. In place of x, you have kept upper limit. So, -1 by d plus L. This is the substitution of upper limit. Minus, wherever the variable is, put the lower limit. -1 by d. Hope you got it. Instead of this, in place of this x, I have kept the upper limit like this. Minus, in place of this x, I have kept the lower limit. That's what you have to do. Don't worry. We will keep discussing more and more examples. But remember the rule. Step number 1, integrate as per the formula. If it is indefinite integration, that's your answer, plus c. If that is a definite integration, limits are there, then in that case, step 1, integrate. Step 2, apply the limits. How to apply the limits? Wherever the variable is, put the upper limit. Minus, wherever the variable is, put the lower limit. So if you extend it further, now you just have to simplify. See, it will be -1 by d plus L. Minus will be plus 1 by d. So that will be, if you take the LCM, that's -d plus L by d into d plus L. So you will have -d and plus d gone, minus d and plus d gone, and what you have here is, all right, d2 d plus L. I've done the same. Check kar lete hain ek baar. -d plus L. So the final answer is going to be, here. That is L by d into d plus L. L by d into d plus L. That's what you have got. Please check the calculations. You can check the sign. So basically the situation is that whenever we are going to deal with integration, first thing you need to see is whether limits are there or not there. If limits are not there, apply the formula, final answer may plus c. If limits are there, don't put any c, just apply the limits. How to apply the limits? Wherever the variable, put the upper limit, minus wherever the variable, put the lower limit. I would like to mention another example here itself, so that you can compare both of them. Example 2. Let us compare both of them. So here what's going to happen, suppose, I'll take a simple example for your convenience. Suppose examiner is talking about x dx, integration of x dx within limits -1 to 2. Integration of x dx within limits -1 to 2. So first of all, sir, you have to integrate. How do we integrate? Apply this formula. Whatever will be the power of x, that has to be raised by 1, increased by 1, divided by the incremented power. So it is integration of x dx -1 to +2. So you will increase the power x square, x to the power 1 was there. If you increase the power, it is x square by 2, within limits -1 to +2. We can write it further as L by d square plus dl. Definitely we can write that. Yes. Chaliye, coming back. I hope everyone is good with it. Integration of x dx, x square by 2, within limits -1 to +2. Sir, integration is done. The limits are there or not there? Here limits are there or not there? Yes, limits are there. If limits are there, should we put c or should we not put c? Should we put the constant of integration or should we not put the constant of integration? Limits are there, we should not put the constant of integration. Definite it is, right? So now we have got the integration answer. Now we have to put the limits. Wherever the variable x is, put the upper limit. So it is 2 square by 2 minus wherever the variable is, put the lower limit. Means -1 ka square by 2, like this. Okay. Wherever the variable is, put the upper limit, minus wherever the variable is, put the lower limit. So what you got is 2 square by 2, and it will be 4 by 2, that's 2. -1 square is still 1 only, okay? So minus of 1 by 2. I think the answer came out to be 3 by 2. Please check the calculation. Now we have enough strong fundamentals so that we can start with the NEET previous year questions. Okay, notes will be shared on the Telegram group. The description of the video is carrying the Telegram group link. Please make sure that you click on the link, join the Telegram channel, because there on the channel and the group, all the important stuff like class notes, recent updates, video lecture links, everything will be shared to you so that you don't miss out any important thing. So starting with NEET PYQs. So since it is the NEET previous year question, we will give it a bit of importance. We should be giving it. Yeah, that's our goal. That's our NEET goal, the national level exam which you are preparing for. Okay. So now we will understand it very, very carefully. Let's not take it casually, but question will be easy. Questions in the exam are every time easy till the time you know the concepts. Okay. So let us start. So the question is, if the velocity of a particle is given, then the distance traveled by it in 1 second and 2 seconds is. I hope you remember our discussion, previous discussion, that was, if you want to talk about from position to velocity, from position to velocity, and velocity to acceleration, this journey will be from position to velocity, and velocity to acceleration, this journey will be taken by differentiation. And if acceleration to velocity or velocity to position, that will be done by integration. Okay now, and what I wanted you to remember, I mentioned it earlier also, if you want to talk about the velocity, then you can write the velocity as, see, basically one more thing I want you to remember is, velocity will be equal to dx by dt, and acceleration can be written as dv by dt, and acceleration can also be written as v dv by dx. So basically we have a choice with acceleration. So velocity can be written as dx by dt, time rate of change of position. Acceleration can be defined as dv by dt, time rate of change of velocity. But another expression of acceleration, if you relate these two, if you combine these two, then you will be having v dv by dx also, I think now it is clearly visible on the screen. Okay, right. Chaliye, let's talk about the question, what we have revised here and how we are going to use this. First of all, given kya hai? Given the velocity to you as at plus bt square. Can I write this velocity as dx by dt, and they are asking us at plus bt square. Okay, since they are giving you the velocity, and they are asking you the distance. So velocity to distance, if you want to go velocity to position, displacement, distance, definitely you will be using the process of integration. Okay, if they have given the position or displacement, they ask you the velocity, you should be using differentiation. But if they are giving you the second one, asking you the first one, you should be using integration. That's what. Very nice here. Few people have already answered it correctly. I'm sure I have taught you very nicely then. You are able to get everything. Chalo, let's talk ahead. So we can write this dx as dt will be multiplied here. So that will be at dt plus bt square dt. If you say on integration, if you want to integrate this, then I will be saying that it will be integration of dx, constant numerical coefficients, constant coefficients come out of the differentiation and integration both. So a will slip out and you will have integration of t dt, plus b will slip out of the differentiation integration both and you will be having t square dt. What about the limits, sir? What about the limits? I would say the dx will give you, the dx integration will give you the d total, but the time you are not starting from 0. Time you are starting from 1 second and then ending at 2 seconds. So the limits of the time will be 1 to 2, 1 to 2. The limits of the time will be 1 to 2 and 1 to 2. I hope you got it. I want to simplify this. I want to simplify this. है ना? This we want to simplify. So I hope you can do that. Let me solve it for you. So further, if you want to solve it, I think this integration, let me take it on the next slide. That is dx is equal to 80. So I'll take a carbon copy of this. I've taken a carbon copy, and then my motto is to solve this particular question for you. Okay, I'm going to solve this now. So clearly, if I solve this, I'll get d total will be equal to a t dt integration dear t square by 2 within limits 1 to 2 plus b t square dt integration, sir, power will be enhanced by 1 and divided by the incremented power. Power was already 2. If you divide it, if you add it by 1, it will be t cube by 3 within limits 1 to 2. Within limits 1 to 2. Alright. So now integration has been done, sir. Should we put any constant of integration? Should we put any constant of integration here? Tell me. Should we put that? No, absolutely no. The reason is limits are already there. If limits are already there, there is no constant of integration required. The type of integration is definite in nature. Okay. So let me solve it further. So I will be having a, how to put the limits? Wherever the variable is, put the upper limit. Wherever the t is, put the upper limit 2, minus wherever the variable is, put the lower limit. So wherever the variable is, put the lower limit, 1 square by 2, plus b, wherever the variable is, put the upper limit, 2 cube by 3, minus wherever the variable is, put the lower limit, 1 cube by 3. So if you look at it carefully, it is 4 by 2 minus 1 by 2, you got 3 by 2. So that's 3a by 2, 3a by 2, plus it is 8 by 3 minus 1 by 3, that is 7 by 3, so 7b by 3. So 3a by 2 plus 7b by 3, 3a by 2 plus 7b by 3. So if you look at it carefully, the correct option is 3a by 2 plus 7b by 3. Is it fine? I would suggest you to take both the screenshots. First of all, if you take this screenshot, then I will show you the next slide, which will contain the entire solution. Take the screenshot quickly. Take the screenshot of this part also. It contains the remaining part of the solution. All right. Understood? Let's crack NEET together. Yeah, for sure. We'll be cracking the NEET together, and not just cracking, we will be achieving one of the top ranks of India, as we always do here in Gosala. So yes, when you will be coming here, you will definitely feel that we are very hard task masters. We'll make you do every single thing. But definitely after a few days, you will realize, when you will be sitting with any kind of book, you will realize that maximum number of questions you are able to do it all alone. Okay. So behind every success, there is a complete success story now. So we here will try to be a part of your success story, and definitely believe me on this, your success story is going to be very, very sweet and inspirational too. Okay. So let's work for it. Let us start. If you would have taken the screenshot, let me take you for another problem, another NEET PYQ. What is that? A particle is moving along x-axis, has acceleration f. A particle which is moving along the x-axis has acceleration f. F acceleration is given right here. Acceleration a or f is given as f naught 1 minus small t by capital T. 1 minus small t by capital T. The particle at t equals to 0 had 0 velocity. The particle at t equals to 0 has 0 velocity. And in the time interval between t equals to 0 and time instant when f is 0. So first of all, they are telling that initial velocity is 0, sir. They are asking final velocity will be what? Provided you know the final time. They are not directly giving you the final time. They are giving you the final time will be that time when f is 0. So let us say for final time here, for final time instant, for final time instant, what they are giving you in the question is that f finally is going to be 0. This implies f naught 1 minus small t by capital T equals to 0. So obviously, sir, this term will be 0 when small t by t will be 1. So that 1 minus 1 is 0. So that 1 minus 1 is 0. So sir, small t by capital T should be equal to 1, which means small t will be equal to capital T. So this is the T final. T final will be equal to capital T. T initial is 0, T final is equal to capital T. This much we have understood. Now they are asking you the final velocity. Now what you will say? Now I will be saying acceleration or f, which is given by dv by dt, that is given to you as f naught 1 minus small t by capital T. So you will say from here dv will be equal to, see, f naught into 1. F naught into 1 will be f naught, and f naught into dt you have, minus it is f naught by capital T into t dt. Sir, what you have done? I have just opened the bracket. So f naught into 1 is f naught. This dt in the denominator will get multiplied. So f naught dt minus f naught t by capital T, and this dt in the denominator has been multiplied. Now you will say on integration, we will be writing here as integration of dv, that will be f naught being a constant will come out, and it will have integration of dt minus f naught and capital T both are constants. Both are coefficients, numerical coefficients, they will come out, and you will have integration of t dt. Now apply the limits. So sir, when t is equal to 0, the initial velocity is also 0. And when t equals to t final, capital T, when t equals to t final, capital T, what is the value of v? That's a question mark. That's our question. I hope you got the idea what I'm talking about. I am saying whenever they tell the story in such a way that story starts from position to velocity, you use differentiation. Velocity to integration, the velocity to acceleration, you use differentiation. But if they talk about the reverse journey, acceleration to velocity or velocity to position, you will be making use of integration. Alright. So here what's happening in the question? Sir, they are giving us the acceleration, and they are asking us the velocity. So we are taking the help of integration. But another twist in this NEET PYQ was initial time they are directly mentioning here, t equals to 0. Final time ke liye they are giving an indirect condition that acceleration is supposed to be 0. So we got the final time. I hope this much is clear. I will explain. Chaliye. So now I have taken its copy, and here let me solve this completely for you. So I am now solving it here. So dv integration is v within limits 0 to v final, which you want to calculate. F naught will be standing as it is. dt integration is t within limits 0 to capital T minus f naught by capital T as it is, and t dt integration power will be incremented by 1 and divided by the increased power. Here the power of t is 1. So increase the power, it is t square, and divide by the increased power t square by 2 within limits 0 to capital T. So we should not put any constant of integration because limits are there, definite integration. So wherever the variable is, how to put the limit? Wherever the variable is, put the upper limit. So it's v minus wherever the variable is, put the lower limit 0. That will be equal to f naught. Wherever the variable is, put the upper limit, that is capital T, minus lower limit 0. Once again, f naught by t as it is. Wherever the variable is, put the upper limit t square by 2 minus wherever the variable is, put the lower limit 0 square by 2. Now if you are going to solve this, you will have v will be equal to f naught t minus f naught by t t square by 2. And hence what do you have? F naught t single power will be cancelled. F naught t by 2, isn't it? V is equal to F naught t by 2. V is equal to F naught t by 2. I hope the logic is clear. So this is going to be your correct answer. V is equal to F naught t by 2. B option. And I think again many students have already answered this B before. Very nice here. Very nice. Chaliye, you can go ahead with the screenshot of the remaining solution. As last time, I will again give you a small homework problem. So very soon we will be discussing all of your homework problems. Okay, you try it in your free time after complete revision of the class notes. Class notes will be available on the Telegram channel. The link of which group and channel is already given in the description of the video. So make sure you click the link and join the Telegram channel. All the class notes, updates and the video links will be provided there also. All right. Hope to see you soon. All the best. Enjoy the journey. Bye bye.
So in the last class, we have studied 3 formulas to find the mole. We have studied the flow chart. Today we will be doing those questions and many more. Those questions and many more from unitary method. Whenever a question comes, how much difficult it is, you can all do it from the unitary method. I have switched off the chat for some time. For next 20 minutes, you keep your hands away from the keyboard so that you can understand the concept better. Okay, everyone. Consider it like your regular class. Consider it like your offline class only. Don't think that because we are sitting online, we can type anything and send all the time. Okay, doesn't look good. We are all serious students. We are preparing for NEET, becoming a doctor, right? So you have seen that whenever you go and visit a doctor is never non-serious, no? He always talks very politely, always talks once only. When he talks to you, he doesn't shout at you, right? So being a doctor, journey starts from here only. It's not like after you get the MBBS degree, you have to be serious. This is now 11th standard. You have started preparing for NEET. You are already a doctor. Think about it. Then obviously when you become a doctor, no, you'll not have to see that sudden change that I have to take bath every day nowadays because I became a doctor. You start taking bath today only from nowadays. Okay. Every day you should take bath from today itself so that you feel like a doctor, behave like a doctor from now on. So whenever you chat in the box, then also I should feel that so many doctors are talking to each other. You should talk like that. Okay. So don't keep your hands on the keyboard right now. Remove your hands from the keyboard. We'll study for next 30 minutes. Then in the last 15 minutes, I will be asking you the doubts as well. Okay. Today also I have 2 chocolate questions for you. So I hope you are all ready for that. Okay. So I've named the lecture as Mole Brahmastra 2, or we call it as Advanced Mole. Advanced Mole concept. Why advanced? Because here today I'll be asking you a question where not only will be converting mole to molecules, molecules to volume, volume to mass, but we'll be doing much more than that. We can convert volume to electrons. We can convert volume to charge. We can convert molecules to charge, like that. So those type of questions we are going to study today. Okay. This was the flow chart I told you in the last class. I hope all of you remember the flow chart. To go from mole to anywhere, you need to multiply. So moles to mass, multiply by molar mass. Moles to volume, multiply by molar volume, which is 22.4 liter at STP. Okay. Going from number of moles to number of particles, we multiply by the Avogadro number Na. And if you want to go back to moles, you just divide it by that number. You divide by the same number. Up to here we had studied in the last class. Today we'll talk about how to use unitary method for mole concept. How to use unitary method for mole concept. You can all start writing this. This will be used for your many different chapters, this particular unitary method. Okay. Unitary method is as simple as your daily transactions. As I told you in the previous class, that when you go to buy some chocolates, if 200 rupees you can get 5 chocolate, then what is the rate of each chocolate? You told me 40 rupees. That type of things only are unitary method. Now, first I will tell you unitary method for any regular thing. For example, like a sandwich. Okay, you think that you have a sandwich which is obviously made up of two breads. In between these two breads, you put one cheese slice as well. Okay, you put one cheese slice. You put, let's say, in this 30 grams potato to make the sandwich. Okay, you grill it for, let's say, 10 minutes. How a sandwich is made, I'm telling you. We took two bread slices, one cheese slice, 30-gram potato, we grill it for 10 minutes, and finally, this sandwich has, let's say, 450 calories. So when you eat it, it has 450 calories. How a unitary method will be used is, you consider that all these things can be related to each other. One cheese, two breads, 30-gram potato, grilling for 10 minutes, 450 calories, and two breads. These all things are related to each other. Okay, these all things are related to each other. They are all equal to one sandwich. You consider them all equal to each other. Okay, you consider them all equal to each other. So if a question comes like this, let's say a question comes like this, they can ask you, how many grams of potato are required? How many grams of potato are required to make sandwiches carrying 1800 calories? Something like this. Okay, I'll be explaining it. So here what we are doing is, I gave you calories and I asked you potatoes. We are making the sandwich only. They are saying you have some number of sandwich, I don't know how many. Sandwich contain 1800 calories. Sandwiches contain 1800 calories. Then how many grams of potato is there inside it? That type of question. Okay, that type of question. Simple question. If I gave you something very, very simple, saying that in this sandwich only, I am saying if 60-gram potato are there, how many sandwiches are there? You would say, sir, 30-gram potato means one sandwich. 60-gram potato means two sandwich. So two sandwiches are there. If 60-gram potato is there, how many breads are there? You would have said, sir, 30-gram potato means one sandwich, means two bread. 30-gram potato, two bread. 60-gram potato, four breads. Like that. Same way here I have to compare the potato with calories. Whatever is unknown, beta. Whatever is unknown. I told you in the last class, mass of potato is unknown. We will keep it on right hand side. And calories are known. We will keep it on left hand side. That's all. Whatever is known, keep it on left. Whatever is unknown, keep it on right, and compare them from the given data. You say, sir, 450 calories means 30-gram potato. So we'll say 450 calories means, or we can say it is equivalent to, this triple sign just means equivalent. Even if you make an arrow, it's not a problem. You think that 450 calories, you are speaking to yourself. 450 calories require 30-gram potato. 30-gram potato. Now we'll go for unitary method, means 1 calorie will require, this whole number goes down. In the last class also I told you, 30 by 450 gram potato. Same way they are asking for 1800 calories. So 1800 calories will require, this is for 1 calorie multiplied by 1800, these many gram potato is required. This is the answer. This is unitary method. Okay, this is what unitary method is. So we will get the answer as 0, 0. On the table of 9, you can cut 9 times 200, 9 times 5. On the table of 5, you can cut it at 40. 4 3s are 12. 120 gram potato is required. Now in the next questions, potato will be changed to electrons, breads will be changed to carbon atoms, sandwich will be changed to glucose. Just the way I told you to open up a sandwich and write everything about it, same way we will try to open up a molecule and write everything about it. Okay, we'll open up a molecule and write everything about it, and we can get any of the answer. They could have asked something like this: how many electrons are present in a glucose sample which contain so many carbon atoms? So you opened up the sandwich, same way you opened up the glucose, that in a glucose how many carbons are there, how many electrons are there. Just compare electrons and carbons. Something else: how much volume of CO2 gas contain these many carbon atoms? So they are talking about CO2 gas. You open up the CO2 gas like this, that in 1 mole of CO2, what is the volume of CO2 and how many carbon atoms are there in the CO2? Compare the volume and carbon atoms. Okay, like this we will be using the unitary method. I am writing it for you. 1 mole Brahmastra I will write. Mole Brahmastra means everything about a molecule I am going to write here. Same way you will have to write about other molecules. It's very simple. You just all see here. Okay. All right. I am writing, you can also write here, mole Brahmastra for any molecule. Let's take CO2 as the first example. I am writing mole Brahmastra for CO2 gas molecules. Mole Brahmastra means writing everything about 1 mole of CO2. Whatever we know about 1 mole of CO2, let us mention it here on this board. For your question, whenever we deal with the question, no, you don't have to write the whole mole Brahmastra. You will write only 2 things, what they are asking. We will not write the whole thing, but I am just showing you how to open up a CO2 molecule and write about it. So we always start with writing, sir, 1 mole CO2. 1 mole CO2 contains what all? Once you have written 1 mole, after that always have a habit of writing at least mass, means molar mass, volume, means molar volume, 22.4 liter, and particles, means Avogadro particle, that you already know. So 1 mole of CO2 will contain 44 grams of CO2. I hope it makes sense because its molar mass is 44 gram. 1 mole CO2 will contain Avogadro number of CO2 molecules. If they ask us molecules, we will compare Avogadro number. 1 mole of CO2 will occupy 22.4 liter at STP. These 3 things we already know, that 1 mole of any gas will contain 22.4 liter, 1 mole of any gas will have Avogadro molecules, 1 mole of any gas will weigh molar mass, 44 gram. What else do we know about it? We know about carbons in it. Can you see that each CO2 molecule has 1 carbon atom? Each CO2 molecule has 1 carbon atom. So Na number of CO2 molecules will have Na carbon atoms, Avogadro number carbon atoms. Correct. Each CO2 molecule has 2 oxygen atoms. Each CO2 molecule has 2 oxygen atoms. So if I have Na number of CO2 molecules, there will be double oxygen atoms, 2 Na oxygen atoms. 2 Na oxygen atoms. Simple. Now, we can talk about masses of carbon and oxygen. It contains Na carbon atom. Na carbon atom means what? 1 mole carbon. It contains 1 mole carbon. 1 mole carbon means 12 gram carbon. I can say it has 12 grams of carbon. Okay, 12 grams of carbon. You know that CO2 is made up of 44 gram, in which 12 gram is the molar mass of carbon. 16 plus 16, 32 gram is the oxygen present here. So I can say out of this 44 gram, there is 12 gram carbon and 32 grams of oxygen atom. So I know the masses of these things as well. What else can I know? I can call Na carbon atom as 1 mole carbon atom. 2 Na oxygen as 2 mole oxygen. Okay, very good. Can we know about electrons and protons in it? Yes, obviously. In each CO2 molecule, if you look at CO2, each CO2, carbon contains how many protons? Carbon number of protons are same as the atomic number. Carbon has 6 atomic numbers, so there are 6 protons. And each oxygen will have 8 protons. So 2 oxygen will have 8 plus 8, 16 proton. So there are 16 protons in this person. There are 6 protons in this person. 6 protons in carbon, 16 protons in oxygen. Total became 22 protons. So each CO2 molecule has 22 protons. Each CO2 molecule has 22 protons. But we are not talking about one CO2 molecule. We are talking about Avogadro CO2 molecule. Each one has 22 proton. So Avogadro will have how many proton? 22 times Avogadro protons. Simple, not difficult. How many electrons? Same number. Whenever you see that there is no charge on the molecule, means electrons and protons are equal only. So 22 electrons are there in CO2. So 22 Na number of electrons will be present in 1 mole of CO2. Okay. Like this, whatever they ask you, you can easily find out. Whatever they ask you, you can easily find out. So many things more are there which you can look at. This is how you can write mole brahmastra of CO2. Same way you could write mole brahmastra of glucose or anything which I give you. Now the question looks like this. Okay. You don't have to write the whole thing for every question. Just to make you understand how to open up a molecule, I've written one complete. Okay. Question looks like this. Question looks like this. Saying that all of you try it with me, this question. Question looks like this. They are asking, calculate the volume occupied by CO2 gas sample at STP which contains 7.2 into 10 to the power 22 atoms of oxygen. Okay, this is the question now. Just the way I gave you the calories, I had asked you about potatoes. Here this is calories and potatoes only. Okay, this is nothing, this is not a sandwich because sandwich is CO2. Sandwich is CO2. Its ingredients are carbon atoms, oxygen atoms, its ingredients are volume, those things. So what is the volume occupied by CO2? Volume is unknown, bache. Volume is unknown. So I will keep the volume, which is this number, I will keep it on right hand side because it is unknown to us. Okay. What is known to us? Number of oxygen atoms are known to us. So I will keep this thing, number of oxygen atoms, on the left hand side. Once you understand this question nicely, no, you will never do mistake in mole concept. Keep this in mind. You might be feeling it is simple. Some of might be feeling it's difficult. You just see how to do 1 or 2 questions. After that, you should be able to do yourself. But if you keep your hands on the keyboard, no, I can see that some people are chatting. I can't see the chat because I have disabled the chat because I get disturbed. Other people get disturbed who are watching the video. So before you type anything, understand this concept so that you can do chocolate questions also. I'll keep this on left, that on right. 2 Avogadro oxygen atoms, then volume is 22.4 liter. So I'll say 2 times 6 into 10 power 23 oxygen atoms are present, then the volume occupied is 22.4 liter CO2 gas at STP. Unitary method. When 1 oxygen atom will be present, then volume will be this whole number divided by this. So 22.4 liter divided by 2 into 6, 12. 12 into 10 power 23. These many liter CO2. They are asking for 7.2 10 power 22. So when 7.2 10 power 22 oxygen atoms are present, at that time, the volume will be this whole number multiplied by 7.2 10 power 22. This whole number multiplied by 7.2 10 power 22. These many liter. That will be the answer. That will be the answer. Okay. We can all see what the answer comes out here. Okay. So on the table of 12, you can easily cut it at 6. 12 6 are 72. So 12 6 are 72. It is 7.2. So I'm cutting it at 0.6. 10 power 23, 10 power 22, a 10 will remain at the bottom. So we get 22.4 by 10 into 0.6. When you multiply 22.4 into 6, how much you are going to get? Okay, you can just write as 2.24 into 0.6, which will be almost 1.3 something liter. Okay, 1.3 liter around, it will get 1.32 liter around. Calculation part, you can see yourself, 1.32 liter around we are going to get. Okay, 1.32, 1.34. Okay, so this is the answer. Calculation part you do yourself, around 1.3 liter we are going to get. So when these many oxygen atoms are there, then the volume is 1.32 liter. I'll just switch on the chat for a second just to know that whether you have understood or not. Is it clear to everybody? 1.34 is correct. 1.34 is correct. Is it clear to everybody? Now we'll start with the next question. Okay, I've switched off the chat again. We'll become the doctors again. We'll not be students. Behave like doctors again. Next one. All right. Now simple questions we are reaching to. I gave you this one as homework. We'll do it by unitary method today. They are saying calculate number of ions present in these many moles of phosphate. Calculate the number of ions. Ions means each phosphate is ion only. Instead of calling it a molecule, we call it ion. 3 into 10 power minus 4 moles phosphate. We'll write the mole mantra or mole brahmastra. Mole brahmastra was what? That 1 mole phosphate I am talking about. Now when you are solving the question, see how you have to do. I don't have to write everything about phosphate like I wrote for CO2. I'll just write 2-3 things. I'll talk about ions, I'll talk about moles. So 1 mole phosphate will contain Avogadro number of particles. Particles is ion only here because phosphate is an example of ion. It is not a molecule. So Na number of phosphate ions. Do I need the mass? Do I need the volume? I don't need anything. Why? Because they are talking about ions. They have given us moles. So I'll just use these 2 things. Now, number of ions are unknown. So I'll keep number of ions on right hand side. I'll keep the moles on left hand side. So I'll say 1 mole contain Avogadro ions. 1 mole contain Avogadro ions. They are talking about 3 into 10 power minus 4 moles. Already unitary is there. I don't have to convert it to unitary. Already 1 mole is there. So if 1 mole contain these many ions, 3 into 10 power minus 4 mole will contain Avogadro into 3 into 10 power minus 4 ions. Okay, you can solve for it. Avogadro will be 6 into 10 power 23 into 3 into 10 power minus 4. 6 3s are 18. I can write it as 18 into 10 to the power 19 or 1.8 into 10 to the power 20. 1.8 10 to the power 20 ions are present. So many ions are present. 1.8 into 10 power 20 ions. You can keep writing these answers or keep checking your answers because yesterday you had solved it from the formulas. From formula, the only problem is you can solve only these types of questions. Mole to mass, mass to molecules, molecules to volume. But when they ask you to go to electrons, when they ask you to go to something like number of carbon atoms, oxygen atoms, then you cannot use the formula. It is not possible. Okay. Use the unitary method for everything. Simple. Next one. If you have written, please write it fast, everybody. I'll give just half a minute to you to write. 15 minutes are there for us. We want to solve some good number of questions as well. Okay. All right. Keep writing along with me. If you keep your hands away from the keyboard, bache, then only you can understand the concept. Please remember this. We should not be so much stuck to the online phase that during the online class you can do that because you have a freedom to do. But when you come offline, You will be sitting quietly in the class and just understanding the class. That's why you will feel that in online we were so free to chat. You are not free to chat. You are not allowed to chat so much. You are only allowed to ask the doubts to a teacher. Teacher will be explaining back to you. Okay. In case it is a fun class, we are not studying that day, then we can chat with each other about everything. Okay. All right. So this is the one. Next one. How many moles of water contain these many molecules? This, as your homework, you have done already. I'll just go to the question which are little bit more difficult to do. Volume occupied by these many moles of CH4. I will do it by the formula itself directly because we know that it's a direct question. Volume they are asking, moles are given. We know that moles are equal to volume occupied by 22.4 liter at STP. Okay, this was the formula. Moles is volume by 22.4. Moles is given 0.004. Volume they are asking by 22.4 liter. So this 22.4 liter goes here. So volume occupied will be 0.004 into 22.4. If you want to make it to go to milliliter, 22.4 liter times 1000, I will write milliliter times 1000 milliliter. Why I have done that? So that a big number we get. 4.004 into 1000 will be 4. 4 times 22.4, which is double of 44.8, which is going to be almost 90. Okay, 89.8 something you will get. 89.6 milliliter. 89.6 milliliter. You can check your answers as you have done this question in the previous class. Okay. All right. Now we'll go to some different types of question. How many molecules are present in 8.8 milligram of CO2? Now what is there is a two-step conversion. Two-step conversion by using the formula. Otherwise, we will use the unitary method. You see the unitary method here now. I told you how to write the mole concept of CO2, Brahmastra of CO2. How many CO2 molecules they are asking? So I'll keep the molecules on right hand side, and weight of CO2 is given. So I'll keep the weight on left hand side. I just need to write about moles of CO2, weight of CO2, molecules of CO2. So I'll just say 1 mole CO2. Whenever you write the mole Brahmastra, always start with writing 1 mole. So 1 mole of CO2. 1 mole of CO2 contains 44 gram CO2, molar mass. Contain how many molecules? Avogadro number of molecules. And has how much volume? 22.4 liter volume. I will not write anything else because they are only concerned about molecules and mass. This is our mass to be kept on left hand side. These are the molecules to be kept on right hand side. 44 gram has Na molecules. 44 gram CO2 contain 6 into 10 power 23 molecules. 1 gram will contain 6 into 10 power 23 by 44 molecules. 8.8 milligram, first convert it into gram. 8.8 10 power minus 3 milligram means 10 power minus 3 gram. So 8.8 10 power minus 3 gram will contain this whole thing multiplied by 8.8 into 10 power minus 3 molecules. That's all. That's your answer. That is our answer. On the table of 44, 2 is 88. So I'll cut it at 0.2 times. 0.2 into 6 is 1.2. So we get 1.2 into 10 power 20 molecules. (1.2 10 power 20 molecules. All are simple question, everybody. There cannot be anything simpler than mole concept, trust me. Because it's just unitary method. You have to go to the market and buy some stuff. It's as simple as that. when you go to the market, let's say you go to buy tomatoes. When you ask how much is tomato, he will say that 1 kg is 60 rupees. Okay, 1 kg is 60 rupees. Then if your mother asks you to buy 200 grams of tomato, you will not go there and ask, no sir, 200 gram, how much should I pay? You will directly think, if 1 kg is 60 rupees, then 200 gram, I have to divide it by 5, it will be 12 rupees. So you'll give him 12 rupees and take the tomato and come. That's what unitary method is. So you don't have to think about it. It's just basic everyday transactions that we do. Basic everyday mathematics that we do. It's same thing only. Just that here Avogadro is there, here mole is there, here molar mass is there, instead of rupees and number of tomatoes and everything. I hope it makes sense. Okay. Next. Now we'll go for 2 chocolate questions before I move next. Okay. These are your homework questions. I'll give you this whole thing for your homework. You do it yourself. These all questions I have put here just for your homework. One question I'll solve here, which is this one. How many electrons, you can all write it down. How many electrons, number of electrons are unknown. So I'll keep electrons on the right hand side. Are present in these many molecules of H2O. Molecules of H2O are known, so I'll keep them on left hand side. So we have to write the mole brahmastra of H2O because we are talking about water. So in water they are comparing molecules with electrons. So I'll write the mole brahmastra of water. I will write only the things which are required by us. I'll talk about molecules, I'll talk about electrons. I will not talk about mass, I will not talk about volume or anything, just these 2 things. Electrons and particles, molecules. So I'll start with 1 mole of H2O. Molecules. 1 mole contain Avogadro number of molecules. Now we'll talk about electrons only directly. Directly, let's jump to electrons, everybody. Let's jump to electrons. How to find electrons? Electrons are nothing but summation of atomic number. You can remember it. Electrons or protons are nothing but sum of atomic numbers. Sum of atomic numbers. So electrons are in H2O, if I talk about, there are 2 hydrogens. Both of them contain 1 electron because their atomic number is 1. Plus there is 1 oxygen whose atomic number is 8. So 8 electrons are there in the oxygen, 1 electron there in the hydrogen, total become 10 electrons. So 1 water has 10 electrons, 1 water. We are talking about Avogadro waters. So it will have 10 times Avogadro electrons. Simple. That's all, finished. Electrons on the right hand side, molecules on the left hand side. Na molecule, 10 Na electrons. Na molecules have 10 Na electrons. 1 molecule will have 10 Na by Na. 10 electrons. As just we saw, 1 molecule has 10 electrons. So 2.5 Na will have 2.5 Na number of molecules will have 10 times 2.5 Na, which is nothing but 25 Avogadro number of electrons. If they ask you the complete value, you can solve it. 25 times 6 into 10 power 23. 25 times 6, which is 150. So 150 into 10 power 23. Okay. 150 into 10 power 23, or just I can say 150 into 10 power 23, or I can just say 1.50 into 10 power 25 electrons. Now let's do a chocolate question. 7 minutes are there. These are your homework. Calculate the charge on 7 grams of nitride ion. About the charge, let me just tell you one thing, everybody. I hope all of you have written this. If not, please write fast, then we'll move ahead. Now let's talk about one more thing, which is charge. See everyone, whenever you look at any 3 negative, 2 negative, like that. Each negative charge means 1 charge, charge of 1 electron, which in Coulomb, I hope all of you remember, is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 Coulomb. On my head, if you see minus 1, on my head, if you see minus 1, that means I carry 1.6 10 power minus 19 Coulomb charge. If you see minus 2, I am carrying double of it. If you see minus 3, I am carrying triple of it. That is what a charge is. Now the question is, calculate the charge in Coulomb carried by 7 grams of nitride ion. N3 minus is nitride, Nitride. This is nitride. Nitride ion. Okay, they're talking about nitride ion. Let us write the Mool mantra or mole brahmastra of nitride ion, saying that 1 mole nitride. I want to talk about mass. Each nitrogen has how much mass? See, nitride or just N, mass will be same only because electrons are almost massless. If it contains 3 extra electrons, it does not carry any new mass. Mass of nitrogen will be just due to mass of protons and neutrons only. Mass number of nitrogen is 14, so it is 14 grams. 1 mole of nitride will contain Avogadro number of nitride ions. Now we'll talk about the charge. As you can all see, each nitride on his head has how much charge? It is 3 negative charge. That means 3e charge, 3e, 3 times charge of electron is there on each nitride ion, present on 1 nitride ion. I'm not talking about 1 nitride ion, I'm talking about Avogadro nitrides. So I'll say the charge is 3e into Avogadro charge. That's all. That's how you find the charge. Look at the charge on the head. It's 3. 3 means 3 electrons wala charge. 3 electrons wala charge is present on each nitride. Here I am not talking about 1 nitride. I am talking about Avogadro nitride. So 3e into Na charge is there. Alright. Now comparison between mass and charge. This is mass known. I'll keep it on left hand side. Charge, I'll keep it on right hand side. And solve it further and get your answer. 14 gram carry 3e Na charge. So 7 gram will carry half of it. 7 gram will carry half of it. So 3e by 2 Na charge. You can put the value and check. 3 by 2 into 1.6 10 power minus 19 value of E into Na, which is 6 into 10 power 23. These many coulombs charge. These many coulombs charge. Okay, I'll just solve it for you. 2 3s are 6, 3 3s are 9. Okay, 9 into 1.6, which is going to be 144. 9 into 1.6 will be 144. So we'll get 14.4 into 10 to the power 4 coulomb. 10 to the power 4 coulomb, or just 144,000 coulomb. That is the answer. Okay, one chocolate question for you. All of you, solve this one. Calculate number of nitrogen atoms in a sample of ammonium nitrate. This is the formula of ammonium nitrate, which contains 8 gram oxygen. I'll write the mole brahmastra. 1 mole ammonium nitrate. I will only talk about nitrogen atoms and I will talk about mass of oxygen. Okay. There are 2 nitrogens. There are 2 nitrogens in each ammonium nitrate and there are 3 oxygens in each ammonium nitrate. What is the mass of 1 oxygen? 1 mole of oxygen ka mass 16 gram. So 3 mole oxygen ka mass 48 gram. That means in the overall mass of this thing, there is 48 gram of oxygen present. So I'll say 1 mole of ammonium nitrate has 48 grams of oxygen. has 48 grams of oxygen. At the same time, how many nitrogen atoms are there? 1 and 1, 2. 2 nitrogen atoms. But 2 nitrogen atoms are present in 1 molecule of ammonium nitrate. We are not talking about a molecule. We are talking about mole, means so many molecules. How many? Avogadro molecules. So there are Avogadro molecules, each contain 2 nitrogen. So there will be 2 times Avogadro nitrogen atoms, not 2 nitrogen atoms. 2 Avogadro, 2 mole. So there is 3 mole oxygen and there are 2 mole nitrogen. There is 3 mole O, means 48 gram, and there is 2 mole N, which is 2 Avogadro number. 48 gram and 2 Avogadro. I'll keep the number of nitrogen atoms on the right hand side because they are unknown. 48 gram oxygen on the left hand side. So I say when 48 gram oxygen is there, at the same time 2 Na nitrogen atoms are there. When 1 gram oxygen will be present, there will be 2 Na by 48 nitrogen atoms. And for 8 grams of oxygen, there will be 2 Na by 48 into 8 nitrogen atoms. Okay, solve for this. You get 1 upon 3 Na or 0.33 Na. Very good, Amrita. But Amrita, first you gave the wrong answer, so I will not give you the chocolate.
Good morning, one and all. Today in our botany lecture, we are going to start with our next topic, the flower, right? So before getting into this topic, as usual, we have to go with the revisions of the things. Last time we have discussed regarding the vegetative morphology, where we have discussed first of all about the root, then we have discussed about the stem, then we have discussed about the leaves, right? I hope so you have gone through all that topics one by one, and as per I guide you, go through the comparison as well. Like for example, for an instant, let me to give you one example. Like we have discussed the formation of spines in case of the leaves, formation of thorns in case of modification of stem. See, both roles are protection, but keep in your mind, thorns are the stem modification, whereas the spines, these are the leaf modifications. Getting that? Tendrils are formed in both stem as well as in case of the leaves, right? But in PEAP, keep in your mind, this is the leaf modification. Tendril in P is the leaf modification, whereas tendrils in the stem, I repeat, in case of like watermelon, or in case of overall, if I am saying gourd, G-O-U-R-D, gourd, that group of the plants, they are having tendril of the stem modification. Getting that? So be careful about the P tendril and the watermelon tendril, that you should know the which modifications these are, and spines and thorn, be careful about that topic. Now let's start with the today topic, that is the flower. Means today we are going to start with the reproductive morphology, right? So the flower, what we have to take the journal characters here, have a look here, very important. This topic will help you in number of chapters. The flower, can I say number 1, this is the symbol of feeling, and object of values, right? This line you will find in your +2 topic, where this topic have been repeated. So once you are going through your +1, it's very important you should be confirmed with the topics, because it will help you in +2 topics as well, right? So what do you mean by this thing? That symbol of feelings and object of values. Feelings means if we are happy, we have to express our feeling. The flowers will help a lot in that. Without any word, we can express our feelings. Second, these are the object of values. Which values I am talking about? Like aesthetic values, to appreciate the nature. Wherever flowers are there, you will really have a sense of appreciation which is going to be inculcated in you due to that beautiful scenic around you, right? So it not only has aesthetic value, it can be cultural value, it can be religious value. You are offering your prayers, you are feeling your prayers are incomplete if you are without the flowers, right? So it is one of the symbols you can take in that way. So this is an opening line for our today's lecture. What is a flower? A philosophical thing you should know as well, being related to NCERT book. We are picking important lines from there only. So these are the symbol of feelings and object of the values. Now technically to a particular belonging to the botany part, to the plants. Now to the plants, how they are, how we can define a flower, right? This is for the human, to the human we can define a flower. But to a plant, what is a flower? Can I say this is the reproductive unit? This is the reproductive unit of flowering plants. Which reproductive unit? Which reproduction we are discussing here about? Sexual means of reproduction, right? And do remember the flowering plants, we are naming them technically the highest one category of plant, angiosperms. These are the true flowering plants. Getting that? So these true flowering plants, they are reproducing sexually with the help of this reproductive unit, what you call it as flower. And very, very important question regarding flower. These are modified shoots. These are modified shoot. This is very, very important thing. And I'm not saying this is modified stem. I repeat, earlier even we discussed, stem is just a stick or a brown color thing in the plant. Along with leaves, flowers, buds, whatever included together, then you call it as a shoot. So flower is a modified shoot, not a stem. Now how comes? Like first of all, you should know it is having a stalk which you call it as a pedicel. What do you call it as? Pedicel. And on that, the internode is there which is condensed, compact. That you call it as a thalamus. Right? How can I say this is the condensed or the compact form? Like for example, let me to take about the shoot only shoot part. Can I say it is having nodes and internodes? Earlier even I said you, at the nodes what comes out? Leaves comes out. Right? This is in case of the shoot. Right? Vegetative shoot. Vegetative means they are only representing the main part of the shoot system with the branching and the leaves here. We are not taking this as a flower. We are taking like a branch which can carry a flower on that, right? So this is a shoot which is having nodes and internodes. The place where leaf originate, that is a node, and between two node is a internode. This is a vegetative shoot. Right? Now here, same like that, the shoot have been compact, condensed like that. That you call it as thalamus. Now instead of leaves, what is there on its node? The outermost will be the sepals. We will discuss through one more beautiful diagram. But before that, let me to take some rough description of this topic. It is having the sepals. They are having the petals. Right? Then you will find here the stamens will be there, right? I will show you all these with the naming, and this is the female part. Just I am telling you about this is one node, this is second node from where petals are coming, this is third node, this is fourth node. So this is the modification of the shoot. Instead of the leaves, what is coming out from that? This all you call it as floral appendages. What you call them as? Floral appendages, right? Or these appendages are the parts of this modified shoot. So on that content, we can say that this is a modification of the shoot, right? So do remember it is having nodes and internodes. clear? But they are so much close to each other, you call it as compactly arranged, or they are condensed form of the shoot will be there, right? So this is an introduction to the flower. Now what I said that through the typical good words, let's talk about the rest of the parts. Like here, see here, the lowermost, starting from this part, green part, what I said you, the lowermost node, this is the receptacle part, or I can call it as, just now I said you, thalamus, which no doubt even you can call it as a receptacle, right? And this is the stalk of the flower, which you call it as pedicel, right? So let's see the first node part on the thalamus. What it carries? Sepals, right? After that, what it carries? Petals. Then inner is the stamens. Then is the pistils. Pistils even they are naming as the carpels. Fine. So first of all, you should know it is having the sepals, the ring of that around it, then inner to that petals, then stamen, then will be the carpels, right? This pistil or the carpel, this is the female part of the flower, whereas stamens are the male part of the flower. If you are getting confused which is male and female, then just as a hint, I can say you men here stands for obviously the male, so stamens are for the male part, and obviously the pistil, opposite sex of that will be for the female part of the flower, right? So 4 whorls are there, one after another. How comes 4 whorls? See, outermost whorl is of sepals, which are green in color. Inner to that are the petals. Still inner to that are the stamens. Still inner to them are the pistil or the carpels. Means 4 rings, 4 whorls. Which word I use over there? 4 whorls are there. Whorls means rings of such around them is present. Now the complete whorl of the pistils, what we call that as? The complete whorl of that, you call that as gynoecium, right? And complete whorl of stamens, you call it as androecium. Complete whorl of petals, complete ring of petals, you call it as corolla. Complete whorls of sepals, you call it as calyx, right? So many sepals are forming calyx, so many petals are forming corolla, so many stamens are forming androecium, and the number of pistils or carpels, they are forming the gynoecium, right? So do remember all these things. This is the base of this reproductive structure to be understood by you, right? Okay. Now one thing important, we have to take perianth. Now this is totally a different thing. When you see in this flower, you will find the petal and the sepal, they are completely distinct. You can differentiate. You can look and say that green one is the sepal, red one is the petal. But when you see this flower, no, you cannot differentiate this is the petal or this is a sepal. You cannot differentiate. When the differentiation between sepal and petals become tough, right, then that whorl, that complete whorl, you name it as a perianth, right? And one member over there, one member, there you call it as tepal. So many you call it as a tepals. Are you getting that? This is, for example, in case of the lily, perianth in case of the lily. Here you cannot say the sepals and petals are fused, or you cannot say here sepals and petals. Okay, in a higher level of understanding we can say okay, it can fuse here, but right now at the moment in the present basic lecture you must remember here sepals and petals, they are not differentiate. Means you cannot differentiate which is a sepal and which is a petal, both are of same color, right? So that you call it as one unit, one part. If I am taking this one, that you call it as tepal. When you take it tepals, complete whorl, that you call it as perianth, right? For example, in case of lily. right? So this is one of the aspect you should remember here. Okay, now coming to the next point, a small difference let's take between some parts of the leaf and the flower. Reason why? Because usually you get confused with that words when it is there in your book. Be clarify about that concept. This is a flower, obviously this is our today's topic which is running. This we have already discussed. This is a vegetative part, this is a reproductive part. Then what is the comparison between that? See here, first of all you should know the stalk of a flower, right? What we call it as, right? The stalk of the flower. Stalk of the flower, what we call it as pedicel, right? This is stalk of a flower. Now coming to next part, this is a stalk of the leaf. What we call the stalk of the leaf as? You call it as petiole, right? So do remember this part. The stalk of the leaf, you call it as petiole. Stalk of the flower, you call it as pedicel. Don't confuse the word pedicel, don't confuse the word petiole, right? And rest of the parts I am not taking in discussion of the leaf, but where you can confuse, I am picking up that point only, right? So this is the petiole and this is the pedicel, number one. Number two is what? In the leaf we have discussed, this is the node point. In a main stem, this is a node where the leaf is attached, right? But it is having a leafy, scaly leafy like projection outside, which you call it as stipules. Means at the base of the petiole. Means what is at the base of the petiole at this point? You remember we have discussed there, it is having the leaf base. What it is having? Leaf base, right? It is just a point where it is going to attach. That point you call it as leaf base. At the leaf base, what is present? Stipule, right? In the same way here, at the base of this pedicel, what is present here? Bracts, right? So bracts are little bit, you can say, equivalent to the stipule in the terminology regarding the position, that is the base of the stalk, right? So bracts are at the base of the stalk of the flower, whereas stipules are at the base of the stalk of the leaf, which is going to be present there, right? And this is the bud, right? On that day when you were asking, so again we are revising that part and even we can compare it now, right? So do remember, so here we are talking about the pedicel, and what is over there? Stalk. And what is present at its base? Bracts are present at its base. Is that clear? I hope so. These points are clear to you. Main, the botany is linked with the terminology only, right? If you are very much confirmed with the terminology, I hope so, you cannot going to be confused in your future with the term. If the basic lectures, if you are listening very attentively, this is more important to listen the concept very nicely and to revise it. Fine. So this is about bracts versus stipules. Fine. Then after that, the types of flowers we have to discuss. Now based on the types of flower, what we can go with, there you are having basically two types of flowers based on the number of whorls, right? You can call it as complete flower, and even you can call it as incomplete flower. As the name is indicated, what is complete flower? Where they are having all the four whorls, right? They are having all the four whorls, they are present. That flower you call it as a complete flower, right? And incomplete flower, right, means they are having one or more than one whorls can be absent, right? So here when all the four whorls are present, that flower you call it as complete. If one or more than one whorls can be absent, then that condition of a flower, you call it as incomplete flower. Like complete flower, for example, very common, you will find here hibiscus, right? Hibiscus is a scientific name of China rose. Very commonly asked question in your NEET exam, right? China rose scientific name is hibiscus. It is the complete flower. Why we call it as complete flower? Because it is having all the four whorls. Outside petals means outermost sepals, then petals, then after that stamens, then after that the pistil or the carpels will be there. If all four are there, then we call it as a complete flower. Incomplete, for example, right, we can go with the this one. What is an example? I can show you through the picture here. What is that? Bougainvillea. This is incomplete flower. It's better I should show you through the picture. Reason why? Because here you will find the whorl outside, the sepal, the petals, they are going to be not there. What is now predicting as a colorful thing over there? That will be the bracts. What will be over there? Bracts, right? So somehow that previous slide we will come back again. So I suddenly come on this diagram. So I felt like that I show you through this diagram only. So example here is Bougainvillea, right, where the bracts are going to deal as a attractive thing for a flower. Otherwise attractive thing for the flower or part will be the petals, right? So there is no surrounding colorful petals, right? So what is going to be absent? Sepal and petals are absent. Here directly flowers are present, right? So do remember here bracts are present, which is colorful, but petals are not present. That's why this is an incomplete flower, right? Now coming to the next part, types of flower with respect to number of reproductive whorls. Which are the two reproductive whorls over here? Earlier even I mentioned you the reproductive thing is the androecium and the gynoecium. Androecium and gynoecium. These are the reproductive whorls. Now based on that, whether present or absent, we can say the sexuality of the flower, whether it is a male flower or the female flower, right? Or they are having both the sexes, then it is a bisexual flower. Like for example, the first they have given about the bisexual flower. What is a bisexual flower? Which is having both female, like this is the gynoecium part of that and this is the androecium part of that. If androecium, gynoecium both are there, that you call it as bisexual flower. Bi means two, both the sexes are present, male as well as female. For example, which will be the example here? Like pea plant or pea flower, having both of them, you call it as bisexual flower, right? Even hibiscus, just now we have discussed, hibiscus is even a bisexual flower. Much more examples are there. Just you have to retain the important one only. That will be proceed with the basic bridge program now. When you will go through your +1 and +2, you will find much more example. Now the terminology, basic concept you must have. Now let's check the next one, unisexual flower. What is a unisexual? Uni means one, either male or female sex organ is there, that you call it as unisexual. Like here in this flower, at meanwhile it is only having the female part, gynoecium, and you call this flower as pistillate flower, right? And this is only having the male part. This is only having gynoecium among the reproductive whorl. This is gynoecium only, so pistillate flower. This is having only androecium part, and you can call it as staminate flower, right? So either the stamen, only stamens are present or only carpels are present. Only stamens here and only carpels are present here. Are you getting that? So this is about again the next type of flower based on how many the reproductive whorls are present over there, right? So earlier we have discussed the types of flower based on how many whorls are there. Then we are even including sepal, petals even the androecium and the gynoecium at that time to say complete and incomplete flower. But right now only to inner two whorls, androecium and gynoecium, whether both are present, then bisexual. Either one androecium or gynoecium is present, then you call it as unisexual. In unisexual, if only female is present, that you call it as pistillate flower, and only male is present, that you call it as staminate flower. Now what is the symbol for that? Do remember, for the bisexual flower you have symbol like this, right? We can represent the bisexual like this. Unisexual, for the female one, you can represent it like this, right? And for the male, you can represent it like this, right? So there are some symbolic representations for all these things, right? So these are the types of flowers. First we have discussed based on all the four whorls, then just now we have discussed based on the reproductive whorls. Which are the reproductive whorls here? One is the innermost, very inside, that is a gynoecium. Just outside that is the androecium, right? Now let's check on the next point of discussion. Now again the types of flower we are going to take with respect to the symmetry of the flower, right? So I have already mentioned, you are asking the example of unisexual flower. I have already given here. Okay, so just only names, fine. Okay, let me to write the example here even, that is of papaya, right? Even of palm can write, even in case of corns you can write. These are the examples, fine. So these are the examples for that. Okay, now coming to the types of flower with respect to the symmetry. Symmetry means how you can cut the flower. If you cut a flower, it is coming into the two equal halves, then you call it as symmetrical flower. If you try to cut, it is not coming into two equal half, then you call it as asymmetric flower, right? Now can you see in the first two pictures, you are cutting and you will get the two equal halves of that. That means the first two, this is representing about the symmetric flower. Which type of flower they are indicating? They are the symmetric flower. This one and even this one. But which type of symmetry in these two? Let's say the first one, that here, this is having the radial symmetry. What do you mean by the radial symmetry? Radial symmetry means when you are cutting in any plane, you are cutting the knife in this plane or this plane, any radial plane, you are cutting, you definitely get two equal halves. That you call it as radial symmetry. And such type of flower you call it as actinomorphic flower. And symbol for such flower will be like this. This is a symbol for this flower, for actinomorphic flower. Right, now let's see what do you mean by zygomorphic flower, which is showing the bilateral symmetry. What do you mean by bilateral symmetry? Bilateral symmetry, when you are cutting only in one plane, one specific plane is there to cut it into two equal halves. You cannot cut it into any plane. Only one specific plane is there where you can get the two equal half. Such type of flower you call it as zygomorphic flower. But which type of symmetry it is having? Bilateral symmetry. The symbol for that will be like this, or the symbol for that will be like this. Right? This is for that. Now asymmetric flower. You cut it in any plane. You cannot have two equal halves, right? Which cannot be cut into two equal half, that you call it as asymmetric flower. You need not to go with their symbol, as per the NCERT is not giving that. Otherwise, if you refer the different books, they are giving different symbols. So to avoid the confusion, you have to fix only to the NCERT book. Now what are the examples for that? So here examples are important for all three. Very important in your this chapter, even for all three they have given the examples. Like here the example they have given, that is for datura, mustard and for the chili, right? Much more are even there, but You have to confine to your NCERT book. I again repeat, very, very important. Don't get bewildered by the words of the mouth of the different people. Just focus what your lecturer is saying and try the PYQs, the previous year question, after done with the complete chapter or a topic. Then think about how much you have to take care of a topic after taking any small test, or what teacher is revising in the class, right? So just go with your own pace. Every student have its own level of grasping the thing. Don't compete with anyone, compete with yourself daily. Improve yourself daily, be a better version of your every day, right? So please focus on specific example given on NCERT book. What extra need to come? Definitely when you come here, it will be guided to you people, right? So these are the examples of actinomorphic flower. Now what are the example for the zygomorphic flower? It will include the pea, it will include the bean, it will include the acacia, even it will include the gulmohar. These are the flower which is showing zygomorphic, you can say, type of flowers. And then after that, asymmetric flower. Here very important example will be canna, right? So what is asymmetric flower? Which cannot be cut into two equal halves. Getting that? And which are symmetric flowers? Which can be cut into two equal halves. If I am taking the first category, you put it your plane any direction, you will get two equal halves. Simply like you have a ball, you can cut into two equal half. Either you are cutting this way, or diagonally, you will get two equal half. This is like that. First one, actinomorphic flower. Zygomorphic flower, to understand, so suppose some toy is there, a teddy bear is there, you want to cut it into two equal halves, then only in the center you have to cut, only then you will get two equal halves. Means in only one plane you can cut, then you will get the two equal halves. Such type of flower you call it as zygomorphic flowers. Asymmetric, wherever you cut, you will not get any two equal halves in any of the planes, right? Just to learn that, the word canna, the example over there, just learn it, cannot, just for learning, cannot be divided into two equal halves, right? Okay, so these are the types of flowers based on the symmetry. Now coming to the next one, again types of flower, another criteria. What is then another criteria to classify them? That will be the merosity. Now, what is this new word to you? Merosity word stands for that how many members are there in a whorl, right? So, number of members in a whorl, or we can say with the whorls. If I am taking in a whorl or whorls, I can say if it is 2 or multiple of 2, then you call it as a dimeris, right? So actually in your book, this is one example. For example, we are having hardly 2 members in one whorl, or other whorl even having 2 or 4 or 8, multiple of that, then that flower you call it as dimeris. But truly speaking, in your book they are not giving the word merosity, but what words they have given? They have given the word trimeris, they have given the word tetrameris, they have given the word pentameris. These are the names of the flowers, right? So these are the names of the flowers, right? Why you call a flower as trimeris? If suppose in a sapple there are 3 sepals, petals are 6 in number, androecium infinite, no problem. Carpels are 3 in number, can I say they are 3 or multiple of 3? Then you call it as trimeris, right? If they are 3 or multiple of 3, right? Here example will come of the monocots, right? Then tetramaris, as the name is indicating, tetra means 4. Here tri stands for 3. Tetra means 4. 4 or multiple of 4. If it is 4 or multiple of 4 are there, then that flower you call it as tetramaris. This is usually in case of dicots, right? And pentamaris, if number of members in a whorl, or you compare one whorl with another, even 5 or multiple of 5, then is a pentamaris, 5 or multiple of 5. Even this is very common in case of dicots, right? Penta means 5 here. Maris stands for merosity. To make you familiar with the word maris, you should know what is merosity. That to count the number of members in a whorl, if they are of multiple of that thing, that is that merosity of that, right? So just terminology you must be aware of. Merosity, like earlier I discussed with you, unisexual, bisexual flower. Then we today even discussed about zygomorphic, actinomorphic, asymmetrical flowers. So you must clear with the terminology more. Maybe example in one day to pile up in your mind is a big challenge for you, which is obviously not possible in one day. Only you have to understand the things first of all, right? Don't be pressurized by the studies. Just enjoy that and learn the main things over there and gradually learn the examples, right? Okay, so this is about this topic of the types of flowers. Now we have to discuss about non-essential parts of the flower. Now what's suddenly about non-essential and essential here? Let's talk about which are essential parts of the flower. Then we can easily understand that which are the non-essential parts of the flower. The essential parts of the flower will be, like I can say, the complete whorl, that is a gynoecium, and even the androecium, right? These are the reproductive parts. Which thing I am discussing? Essential. Now our topic is on the non-essential one, right? Today we will talk about the non-essential. Essential I will like to take in our next lecture. That's why we have divided the topic of flower into part 1 and part 2. Today we are completing the part 1, right? So under that part 1 we have to talk about a little bit about the non-essential parts of the flower. So which are that non-essential parts of the flower here? Here you must remember it will be the corolla and the calyx part, right? So why you call it as non-essential? Even you call them as a accessory part of the flower. They are not participating into reproduction. They are not involving in that, but it is helping in that, because corolla being colored part, this is the most attractive part. This is the most attractive part. Why it is so much attractive? To attract pollinators. What are that pollinators? Pollinators are the insects which will come visit to the flower just due to the attraction of that corolla. Even they will enjoy nectar over there. They will carry the pollens, and in that, in return, they help in pollination. What is pollination? Just taking the pollens from the male part to the female, right? If you are not getting, don't be panic. In our next lecture, we will talk about what is pollen and what is stigma, that we will discuss there, right? Meanwhile, just keep in your mind, pollinators are some animals around us which are mostly helping in pollination. It can be even the wind and the water as well, but right now we are talking about the word attraction. That means insects will attract over there. So we are talking about that pollinators which attract towards the color, right? So here meanwhile I am talking about the insects here, right? So who is attracting, who is inviting these guests on the flower, so that little bit the flower can even be held by them? That will be the corolla. Then they will serve something to their guest, obviously the nectar and the pollens, so that they can revisit again and again, right? So this story is very big. You have full chapter in +2 about that, but just now to build your base, you should know the terms. That's it. Okay, now calyx. This is the green small leaf-like structure, right? What it will do? It helps to support the inner walls of the flower, right? When the flower is in bud stage, initial stage, at that time outer side, this calyx is protecting that. When it is open, then calyx will be at the base of the flower, right? So this is about the non-essential part, just an introduction. You should know about that, right? Now a little bit more terms regarding this non-essential parts of the flower. Let's take the first, the types of sepals. You know that sepals are the member of the calyx, right? So the sepals can be free, can be united. United means they can be fused. United means they can be fused with each other. If the term is free, then here technically you use the word poly. If I am saying polysepalous, polysepalous means what thing? Here the sepals are free. Can you see in this picture? Here the sepals are free, this green color. These are free, they are not united. But when you see here, these sepals are united with each other. That you call it as gamosepalous. The technical term gamo stands for united. And here poly stands for free. Otherwise poly can be for many as well. And keep in your mind, if it is free only, then it can be poly. You can count the number over there. If it is fused, then many you cannot say. But right now here you have to use the word poly as a free and gamo as a united. So polysepalous, right, means which type of sepals they are having. Free sepals they will have, right? And gamosepalous means united sepals. If in a flower is there, then that condition you call it as gamosepalous condition, right? So don't worry about the examples. Where it is required, definitely I will say you parallel to that, right? Sometimes some examples you haven't seen in your common day-to-day life. Just the terminology you must aware of, right? Okay, now coming up to the next, types of the petals. Petals comes for which category? That is for the corolla. It comes under which whorl of the flower? Corolla. So can I say one unit of the corolla is one petal? Many you call it as petals. Complete whorl you call it as corolla. Same way, one member of calyx is one sepal. Many you call it as sepals and full whorl you call it as calyx, right? But right now we are talking about petals in corolla. Now here again the terms have been used. The free term is used. That means poly will be there. United means fused. So here the word gamo must be used. Poly means here free, gamo means here fused or united. But what thing we are talking about? Petals. So can you see here they are free and here they are fused, right? So do remember these types of things around you. When you will go outside, just check in your environment what type of beautification is there by the nature due to these flowers, right? Now our last topic for today is about aestivation. Aestivation is what? The mode of arrangement of sepal and petals in floral bud. Floral bud means the young stage, initial stage of a flower, right? And with respect to the other members of the same whorl. That you call it as aestivation. Let's take the types of aestivation. When you see the flower and cut it like this, on the top you will view like this. A flower is there, just cut it like this horizontally, or you call it as transverse section. At the top you will find this type of arrangements, right? If you will get the first type of arrangement, what type? Like here the sepals or petals, this is one margin, this is second margin, one margin, second margin. This is sepal, it can be petal, it can be sepal, it can be petal. I repeat, So we are talking about non-essential part, their arrangement in floral bud stage with respect to each other in that whole, either sepal or petals, not both together at one time. I am talking one thing at a time. So it can happen to sepals, it can happen to the petals as well. Now the first one, can you see the members? Here the margins, they are just touching to each other. Here you will see margins, they are overlapping with each other. They are overlapping. But here you will not find a fixed pattern. In some time they are simply going to be overlap. One is completely inside, one is completely outside like this, right? I repeat once again, in this type you will find the margins are overlapped. If it is overlapped, this is inside, this is outside, then this is inside, this is outside, and so on. But here there is no fixed pattern of overlapping. There is no fixed pattern of overlapping in the third one. What it means, I will say you. Now last is what one? There one most outer one is completely outside. Can you see margins are completely outside? Second lateral one, there this margin is inside and one margin is completely outside. But these margins are completely inside. Only you have to consider, even if you are looking a sepal and petals in the nature, you will find there some particular very interesting arrangement with itself. Now the first category, what you call it as, the first category of arrangement, aestivation, you call it as valvate aestivation. An example here is of Calotropis. Next one, you call it as twisted type. Here example will be, do remember, that is of China rose. Cotton can be the example, right? And next is for the imbricate type, right? Where example will be going to be Gulmohar. And Acacia. Last one is a waxillary type, where the example will be pea and the bean, right? So just to have a look on the arrangement to each other at floral bud stage, because once the flower open, this arrangement will be distorted, right? So if they are just close and touching to each other, valvate. If they are overlapped again and again, one part out, one part in, one part out, one part in, one part out, one part in, this is a twisted type. If there is no fixed arrangement, then you call it as imbricate. If one is big, this one is the largest one. This is the largest petal. This is the largest petal. This is a lateral petals here. And here you call them as a heels, right? So if this type of arrangement is there, that you call it as waxillary, right? Like a insect is there, no? Their mouth is in the front and wings are there, and at the back a keel or a tail type thing. That's why you call it as waxillary type, right? Just aware with the term, that's more important, right? So this all we have discussed about the non-essential part. In our next class we will discuss about the essential parts of the flower. Just now we completed the non-essential part. Just go through once and hope so next we will meet, you will already know about what is gynoecium and what is androecium. This is all for today. Thanks a lot, students.
Okay, so good morning everyone. Hope you enjoyed Sunday and hope you enjoyed the last classes. We have completed 3 lectures. I will go for quick recap. What we have discussed in the animal kingdom, I said that first we have to discuss about the different phylum. I said about the members of Porifera. First one, that is Cycon. We have already discussed. Cycon is known as the Scypher. Good morning beta, good morning everyone. Then Spongilla, that is known as the freshwater sponge. Okay, and now that is the Euspongia, that is known as the Both sponge. Now after it I said the examples of Coelentata. Before saying the examples of Coelentata, I said this is one very important cell which is present in Coelentata, that is known as the cnidocyte or cnidoblast. Cnidocyte, presence of cnidocyte or cnidoblast, It is the most important character of phylum Coelenterata. That is why due to presence of these cnidoblasts, they are known as the Cnidaria. So are you getting why the name of the phylum is Cnidaria? Because they are having the cnidoblast or cnidocytes. So this is the one point you have to remember, that they are having the different. I said so many examples of phylum Coelenterata. One is the Hydra. That is the freshwater polyp. Anyone will write why Hydra is known as the freshwater polyp? Are you able to reply why Hydra is known as the freshwater polyp? Yes, Yuvraj, you have written it is freshwater polyp, but why? Why it is known as the freshwater polyp? It is known as the freshwater polyp because you have to remember, normally the coelentrates are living in the marine water, but now this is the only, it is living in the fresh water. Yes, someone has written the correct, it is living in the fresh water. And polyp means, if I will say about the polyp and medusae, so there are two terms, try to get the two terms. One term that is known as the polyp and one term that is known as the medusae. One term that is known as the polyp and one term that is known as the medusae. So polyp is the asexual phase of the life. Polyp is the asexual phase of the life, whereas medusae is the sexual phase of the life. Polyp is the asexual phase of the life. Yes, Yuvraj, you have written medusa. So it is Balu, you have written absolutely correct. Polyp means it is the asexual phase of the life. So mainly in the life cycle of Hydra, there is a sexual phase. That is why, and it is living in the fresh water. So it is known as the freshwater polyp. After it, I said the example Physalia, Portuguese man of war, already discussed. Adamsia, sea anemone, already discussed. Pennatula, sea pen, already said. Gorgonia, sea fan. It is looking like fan, like this, beautiful. That is the Gorgonia sea fan. That is why Gorgonia sea fan. Meandriana, known as the brain coral. This is one more example. It is why the Meandriana is known as the brain coral, because the structure of this like the brain, and it is having the folds which are same present in our brain. That is why Meandriana is known as the brain coral. It is resembling like the human brain, so it is known as the brain coral. So this is the one. Obelia, known as the sea fur. Aurelia, jellyfish, very important example. That is the Aurelia, that is the jellyfish. Corallium, it is known as the precious red coral. So already we have discussed. Now from here I will say today, in the life cycle of Coelenterata there are two phases. In the life cycle of Coelenterata there are two phases. One is the polyp and one is the medusae. One is the polyp and one is the medusae. Polyp is the asexual phase of the life. Polyp is the asexual phase of the life and medusae is the sexual phase of the life. Medusae is the sexual phase of the life. Polyp is the asexual phase of the life and medusae is the sexual phase of the life. So how many stages in the life cycle of Coelenterata? There are two. One is the polyp and one is the medusae. Polyp, it is mainly shown by one example, that is known as the Hydra. Polyp, it is shown by one organism of Coelenterata, that is known as the Hydra. Are you remembering Hydra? And medusae, anyone will say, in the medusae, what is the diagram? Whose diagram in the medusae? See, Aurelia, same na? Aurelia, yes, just see. So Aurelia is showing about the medusa. So Aurelia, jellyfish, it is about the medusa. So are you remembering how many stages in the life cycle of Coelenterata? In the life cycle of Coelenterata, mainly two stages. One stage that is known as the polyp and one stage that is known as the medusa. Polyp is the asexual phase of the life. Medusa is the sexual phase of the life. and they are converting into each other. So there is one term that is known as the metagenesis. There is one term that is known as the metagenesis. There is one term in Coelenterata that is known as the metagenesis. So I will say, what is metagenesis? Try to get the point. What is metagenesis? So metagenesis is a process in which the polyp is converted into medusae and medusae is converted into the polyp. Metagenesis, please note down this term. This term is very important. This term is very important that you have to remember. That is the metagenesis. Metagenesis means it is a process in which the asexual phase of the life, that is the polyp, is converted into the sexual phase of the life, that is known as the medusae, and again medusae is converted into the polyp. So metagenesis is a process in which the asexual phase of the life, that is the polyp, is converted into the sexual phase of the life, that is the medusa, and this conversion is known as the metagenesis. This conversion is known as the metagenesis. So polyp and medusae stages are present. That is why it is the metagenesis. Now coming on the next phylum, that is known as the Ctenophora. Coming on the next phylum, that is known as the Ctenophora. Try to get the point. Next phylum, that is known as the Ctenophora. So related with the Ctenophora, I have written one point. They are exclusively marine. Exclusively marine means all the animals of this phylum are living in the marine water. Ctenophora, it is exclusively marine means all are living in the marine water. So here you have to remember, till time we have discussed about three phylum. Porifera, first phylum is the Porifera. Second phylum is the Coelenterata, that is also known as the Cnidaria. That is also known as the Cnidaria. And third phylum is the Ctenophora. Third phylum is the Ctenophora, that you have to remember three phylum. First one, that is the Porifera. Second one, that is the Coelenterata. And third one, that is known as the Ctenophora. So poriferans are mostly marine. Mostly marine. Mostly marine. I am not writing the term exclusively. There is a difference between exclusively and mostly. Exclusively. Ctenophora are exclusively marine. What is the meaning of exclusively? Means totally. There is no exception. No exception. No exception. All are living in the marine water. But in Porifera, are you remembering one example? Anyone will reply, what is the name of the Porifera who is living in the fresh water? What is the name of Poriferan who is living in the fresh water? Yes, Balu. Wonderful. You have given the correct answer. Spongilla. Spongilla. Spongilla, that is known as the fresh water sponge. Very good, Balu. This is the fresh water sponge. Spongilla, that is the fresh water sponge. Very good. Now, anyone will say any example of Coelenterata, because they are also mostly marine. It means one exception is there. Any animal of Coelenterata, one who is marine, not marine with the fresh water. Any exception of Coelenterata, known by you, yes, Ananda, what's your name? Ananda, yes, fastest finger first, Ananda has given the correct answer. It is the Hydra. Hydra, I have shown now, Hydra, just in a written, Hydra, it is known as the freshwater polyp. Hydra is known as the freshwater polyp. It is the Coelenterata, one who is living in the fresh water. So the poriferans are mostly marine because there is one exception, that is the Spongilla. Coelenterates are also mostly marine, but there is one exception, that is known as the Hydra. But I said that Ctenophora, they are exclusively marine. Ctenophora. It is the exclusively marine, means all are living in the marine water. Now coming on a very important property of Ctenophora, they are bioluminescent. They are bioluminescent. Bioluminescent means it is a property related with the emission of light. It is a property related with the emission of light. It means they are able to emit light. This property is known as the bioluminescence. Only for your knowledge I am saying how this property develops into the animals. So there is one protein that is known as the luciferin protein, and due to presence of this luciferin protein, they are having the property of bioluminescence. So this is the one property that you have to remember, property of emitting light, that is known as the bioluminescence. Okay, so this is the one point that you have to remember. And now what is the example? See, they are having the tentacles. Tentacles like Coelenterata, they are also having the tentacles. Now one big thing that you have to remember in the Ctenophora, one good thing that you have to remember in the Ctenophora, that they are having on the dorsal side, they are having 8 plates. 8 external ciliated comb plates are there. They are having 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many? 8. 8 ciliated comb plates are present. This is another very important character related with the Ctenophora. 8 ciliated comb plate is present, which are helpful in the process of locomotion. Locomotion means to change the place. This is the one point. One more difference between Coelenterata and Ctenophora that you have to remember. Coelenterata, they are showing the asexual as well as the sexual reproduction, whereas Ctenophora is showing only the sexual reproduction. So today's homework, what you have to write? Today's homework, just whenever you are able to solve this question, give the answer on Telegram channel or here only. What are the 5 differences between Coelenterata and Ctenophora? You have to write like this, like if I will say habitat. On the basis of habitat, Coelenterates are mostly marine, but Hydra freshwater, but Ctenophora exclusively marine. So in this way, you have to search with the help of NCERT book. Try to search the 5 differences between Coelenterata and Ctenophora. So what is homework for today? What are, please write 5 differences between Coelenterata and Ctenophora. This is the question for the day that you have to complete today. What are the differences what are the differences between Ctenophora and that is one, that is the Coelenterata. Now coming on next phylum, that is known as the Platyhelminthes. So first I will say, listen, gradually the evolution started. So in Porifera, only the cells are present in the group. So that is known as the cell aggregation. Cell aggregation. In Coelenterata and Ctenophora, these cells combine to form the tissues. And now in Platyhelminthes, the tissues combine to form the organs. Getting? So gradually the development is going on. Okay, it is not happening that within one day you are able to crack the NEET. It requires gradual study. Okay, one day you will learn how to read, then you will learn how to solve the question, and after practicing it. So that Porifera, it is showing the cell aggregation. Coelenterata, Ctenophora, they are having the tissues. You know what is tissue? Group of cells. What is organ? Group of tissues. Tissues combine to form the organ, and organ combines to form the organ system. Getting? So life originated in the form of cells, and cells combine to form the tissues, and tissues combine to form the organs. Okay, so this is the one thing that you have to remember. Now, what is the name of this phylum? Platyhelminth. Platy means flat, flat, like a book. They are flat. They are flat on both the sides. Like if I will take this mobile, so this mobile is flat. On ventral side, lower side it is flat. On dorsal side, upper side it is flat. So animals of this phylum are known as the platyhelminth. Why the animals of this phylum are known as the platyhelminth? Because they are dorso-ventrally flat. Because they are dorso-ventrally flat. On dorsal side and on ventral side, they are flat. That is why the animals of this phylum are known as the platyhelminth. As they are the flat animals like worm, that is why they are also known as the flatworm. So platyhelminths are also known as the flatworm because they are dorso-ventrally flat. As they are dorso-ventrally flat, that is I will say about the symmetry in the next chapter. Okay, so that platyhelminth, they are dorso-ventrally flat. That is why I said that they are known as the flatworm. Clear? So this is the one point that you have to remember related with the platyhelminth. Now, there are two types of parasites. One type of parasite living inside the body of the organism, they are known as the endoparasites. One of the parasites living on body surface, they are known as the ectoparasite. Like if I will say hair lice, they are the example of the ectoparasite, and those who are living inside the body, they are known as the endoparasites. So platyhelminths, which are known as the flatworms because they are dorso-ventrally flat, and they are mostly endoparasite. They are not ectoparasite. Platyhelminths not living on the body surface. They are living inside our body. So they are the endoparasite, and they are found in human beings also. So many platyhelminths are there, those who are living in our body, and they are causing the disease. So many parasites are there, and those who are living inside the body and causing the disease. Yes, Tanmay, you have written the correct, that is the tinea. Very good. You have written the correct, that is one example, that is the tinea. Very good. So that you have to remember that so many that platyhelminths, they are living inside our body. Elephantiasis not in this phylum, beta. Elephantiasis is caused by the Buceriria. It will come in the next phylum, not in this phylum. Yes, Vaibhav, you have written the tapeworm. Very good. Tapeworm, that is also an example of tinea. Right, very far. Beta, Ananda Ascaris will come in the next phylum, not in this phylum. Liver fluke will come. Nikhil, you are correct. Nikhil, yes, that Condeva, that tinea, very sir. Liver fluke, very much correct. Tapeworm, very much correct. So you all are trying to write. Ascaris in Aschelminthes. Yes, Monica, you are correct. Ascaris in Aschelminthes. Very good. So you all are trying to reply. Please try. Whenever I will come there, I will definitely read your comments. So they are endoparasite, those who are living inside the human beings. Okay, like that you are asking to, what is the tinea solium? So see, this is one parasite which is included in the platyhelminth. It is known as the tinea. Tinea is known as the tapeworm. Tapeworm. It is also known as the ribbon worm because it is elongated like the ribbon. Its length is so much, that is why it is known as the tapeworm, or it is also known as the ribbon worm, and it is causing a disease that is known as the teniasis. It is causing a disease that is known as the teniasis. See how long it is looking like ribbon. Tapeworm, like meter tape is there. That is why it is known as the tapeworm. Tinea solium. It is causing a disease that is known as the teniasis. Now I am going to discuss one very important term. that is known as the digenetic. Di means two, genetic means life completed. So, I think it is known by you. Parasites, they need two, one, a many host to complete their life cycle. Those who are completing their life cycle in one host, what is their name? Anyone will say, those who are able to complete their life cycle in one host. Anyone will reply, what is the term used for them? Those who are able to complete their life cycle in one host. Like here I have written the digenetic. Digenetic means those who are able to complete. Yes, Ananda, you are correct. It is known as the monogenetic. Monogenetic. Those who are able to complete the life cycle in one host, they are known as the monogenetic. And those who require two hosts to complete their life cycle, they are known as the digenetic. So in NEET exam, they are asking which is monogenetic, which is digenetic. Like if I will say, try it, take your own time. It's very interesting and known by you also. Who is causing the malaria? Malaria is a very common disease. When you will be a doctor, so many patients of malaria will come to your clinic for treatment. Who is causing the malaria? Please give me the answer of this question. Who is causing the malaria? What is the causative agent of malaria? Yes. Pratima. You have given fastest finger first, Plasmodium. Very good. Plasmodium is causing the malaria, not the mosquito. Mosquito is not causing the malaria, beta. Malaria is caused by the Plasmodium. Say me, in how many hosts the Plasmodium is completing its life cycle? You have to reply in terms of 1 or 2. Fastest, fast. How many hosts it requires to complete its life cycle? How many hosts required? Yes. Leela Vanu, 2. Fastest finger first. Leela Vanu has given the absolutely correct answer. My question was, Plasmodium, that is the causative agent of malaria, life cycle of it completed in how many hosts? 2 hosts. The first host, that is the human being, and second host, that is the female Anopheles mosquito. So, are you getting the meaning of digenetic now? When 2 hosts, yes, I am very happy, you all are replying very much correct. I am observing the fastest finger first always. So, when the life cycle completed in 2 hosts, the parasite is known as the digenetic, and when the life cycle is completed in 1 host, that is known as the monogenetic. So, always remember, malaria is not caused by the mosquito. Mosquitoes are carrying this parasite from one infected person to the healthy person. Malaria is not caused by mosquitoes. Only mosquitoes are carrying this Plasmodium from infected person to the healthy person. Yes, you have written very much correct. That Neela Vani, you are very much correct. Human and female Anopheles mosquito. There are 3 varieties of mosquitoes we will discuss. So one example of Platyhelminthes, that is the tinea. Another example of Platyhelminthes, that is known as the fasciola. That is known as the liver fluke. See now, every term in zoology having its own meaning. So if you are able to get the meaning of a term, no need for batti, cramming, no need of cramming, because you are able to get the term. So fasciola is known as the liver fluke. Fasciola is known as the liver fluke. Anyone will say, because you all are good, you are replying absolutely correct. What is the meaning of fluke? I will be the happiest person if you will try to reply. I'm here to support, but just try to reply. What is the meaning of fluke? Fluke. Yes, 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 yes. What is the meaning of fluke? Anyone is trying? What is the meaning of fluke? Fluke. What is the meaning of fluke? Maybe it is not known by you because it's not a common term. So you all are trying. You all are trying. Try. Fluke means. Yes. Yes. Leela has written it is based on shape. Yes, it is based on shape. Basically, the meaning of fluke. The meaning of fluke means it is a leaf-like structure. Yes, yes, yes. Someone has recognized, very much correct. It is based on the structure. This is the leaf. So it is having a leaf-like structure like this. It is having a leaf-like structure like this. That is why it is known as the liver fluke. And where it is causing the disease? Where it is causing the disease? It is causing the disease in the liver. So that is why this is known as the liver fluke. It is infecting the liver of human beings. That is why it is known as the liver fluke. So first example of Platyhelminthes, that is the tinea, and second one, that is the fasciola. It is causing a disease in liver, and it is leaf-like. If you will see, it is looking like a dry leaf. That is why this is known as the liver fluke. So this is the one that you have to remember. Now I am coming on next phylum, that is known as the Aschelminthes. Now see towards me. Platyhelminthes means flat bombs, those who are dorso-ventrally flat. Aschelminthes. So like if I will say Aschelminthes are known as the round bombs. They are known as the round bombs. Why they are known as the round bombs? Because when you will go for dissection, when you will go for the dissection of this round bomb, you will find a cross. In the cross section, you will find a circular structure. So when you are finding a circular structure, then it is known as the round bomb. So why the Aschelminthes are known as the round bomb? Because they are circular in cross section. As they are circular in cross section, that is why they are known as the round bomb. Yes, Neela Vani, you are asking, you are saying that it is the nematoda. Yes, I will say why the Aschelminthes is also known as the nematoda. So wait to write. Just see Aschelminthes. First I said that Aschelminthes are known as the round bomb. Why they are known as the round bomb? Because they are circular. Because they are circular in their cross section. Now just see that Aschelminthes are also known as the nematoda. Why the Aschelminthes are known as the nematoda? So for this you have to remember one point. Aschelminthes, phylum Aschelminthes is classified into 5 classes: nematoda, nematomorpha, gastrotricha, rotifera, chinorhyncha. How many classes? Need not to remember. Only remember that that Aschelminthes is divided into how many classes? 5 classes. And the name of the most important class is the nematoda. That is why commonly we used to say that nematoda, that is the Aschelminthes. Yes, you have written that Benakaya Gudethi has written both are same, only na sir, nematoda and Aschelminthes. Yes, see, Aschelminthes means round bomb. Try to clear this concept today. Aschelminthes is a broad bird. Aschelminthes including how many classes? 5 classes. And the name of the most important class is the nematoda. That is why it is known as the nematoda. The old name of nematoda is the Nemathelminth. Nemathelminths. Yes, you ask a good question. That is the BSMJ. Write your correct name. that what is the old name of nematode? Nemathelminth. Nemathelminth. Okay, so are you getting? That is the nemathelminth. Now this. Now the most important example of this, that is known as the Ascaris. Ascaris lumbricoides. Ascaris. Commonly it is known as the roundworm. All the animals of phylum Aschelminthes, they are commonly known as the roundworm. All the animals of phylum Aschelminthes, they are known as the roundworm because they are circular in cross structure. See, they are known as the roundworm. And now, if I will say one very important difference from this phylum, one big thing started, that is known as the sexual dimorphism. From this phylum, one very big thing started, that is known as the sexual dimorphism. There are two types of animals. One is known as the monoecious, and one is known as the dioecious. One is known as the dioecious. One is known as the monoecious and one is known as the dioecious. Anyone will say, what is the meaning of monoecious and dioecious? Try to give the answer. What is the meaning of monoecious and dioecious? Anyone will say, what is the meaning of monoecious and dioecious? Yes, sir, it's not visible. Not coming. This one is not coming. Coming? Now it's coming. Yes. Say me, what is the meaning of monoecious and dioecious? Try to give the answer. Try to give the answer. Sir, use another color. Yes, red. Okay, so red color is visible. Yes, I changed the color. So say me, what is the meaning? Yes. You have written uni and bisexual, best origami. Okay, what's your name? That is one. Please write your correct name, na. Your mother and father has given you one good name, na. Respect them. Write your correct name. Why writing not correct name? Monoecious and dioecious. Dioecious means unisexual. Dioecious means unisexual. Monoecious means bisexual. Monoecious means the bisexual and dioecious means the unisexual. Mr. Prabhas is different from Mrs. Prabhas. Are you getting now? Mr. Prabhas is different from Mrs. Prabhas. It means male is different from female. Male is different from female. Then you will say that these organisms are the dioecious. Okay, in human beings also we are the dioecious. Male sex hormone in one individual, female sex organ in one individual. So we are also dioecious. But there are few animals, those who are having both testis and ovary. There are few animals, those who are having testis and ovary. Okay, there is no Mrs. Prabhas. Okay, still he is unmarried. So send the request, friend request to go for marriage. Then only Mr. and Mrs. Prabhas. I am not having so much knowledge, but in South he is a famous actor. Na? I have seen the movie Salar. It is very famous in North India also. So now I said na that when male is different from female, it is dioecious, and when both the sex organs are present in one organism, then it is known as the monoecious. I think you know so many animals. Cockroach is dioecious. Mr. Cockroach is different, Mrs. Cockroach is different. Same in earthworm. In earthworm, both testis and ovary are present in one animal. That is why it is known as the monoecious. So again, try to do, I am writing so many homework. You have to write the 5 and 5. 10 examples. 5 examples of monoecious animals and 5 examples of dioecious animals. Okay, 5 examples of monoecious and 5 examples of dioecious. Like, you have to write the examples of monoecious and dioecious. Say me, are you getting the meaning of monoecious or dioecious or not? If getting the meaning, give the thumbs up. Are you getting the meaning of monoecious or dioecious or not? Please give a thumbs up if you are getting the meaning of monoecious or dioecious. Are you getting the meaning of monoecious and dioecious? Yes. So, if you are getting the meaning of monoecious and dioecious, give me the answer. Give me the answer. Frog, kappa. Frog is monoecious or dioecious? Your time starts now. Frog is monoecious or dioecious? Fastest finger first. Who will give the correct answer? Frog is monoecious or dioecious? Yes, Leela, written the correct answer. That is the monoecious. It is correct or wrong? Leela, it's wrong. Why writing wrong? Frog, Mr. Frog is different. Mrs. Frog is different, na? That is why frog, it is the dioecious. Frog is dioecious. Frog is dioecious. Now, again ready? Give very fast answer. Earthworm is. Earthworm is monoecious or dio. Only note down mono or dio. Earthworm is monoecious or dioecious. Earthworm is monoecious or dioecious? It is. Earthworm is. What is the answer? Earthworm is monoecious. Very good. Frog is dioecious. Earthworm is monoecious. And now cockroach. Say me, cockroach is monoecious or dioecious? Cockroach is monoecious or dioecious? It is also dioecious. So when male is different or individual, female is different individual, we will say it is the dioecious. When both male and female sex organs are present in one organism, then it is known as the monoecious. So this is another character. But in Aschelminthes, okay, that is the monoecious and dioecious. Are you getting the meaning? It is the monoecious. Monoecious. What is the second one? Dioecious. Dioecious. Monoecious means one. Dioecious means two. You can remember like this. And I have written one term that is known as the sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism means identification of the male and female individual on the basis of their external characters. That is known as the sexual dimorphism. When we are able to differentiate male from female, when we are able to differentiate the male from female, then the organism is, this property is known as the sexual dimorphism. So today we have completed up to the Nematoda, Aschelminthes. Tomorrow I will say the next one, that is the Annelida. Okay. So tomorrow I will say that about the Annelida. I am going slightly slow because I think that you are getting the point. So we will meet again tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.